November 2006. In 5 months, the Burj Dubai has doubled in height. Construction is pushing beyond the 85th floor. Already, it's taller than any other building in the Middle East, and this is only the halfway point. Work's now speeding along so smoothly on the center core that even construction engineer S.Y. Lee is pleasantly surprised.
Now we are on the track, so because before we were reaching the 4-day cycle, now we are achieving 3-day cycle. In fact, last week we could make even 2-day cycle.
The reason? As the building narrows, they only need half as much rebar as they did at the lower levels. In order to reduce downtime, the canteen's been moved up to the 43rd floor, so workers don't have to go all the way to ground level at lunchtime. The building is now so tall that Lee constantly has to monitor wind speed. 400 meters up, it can easily hit 70 kilometers an hour with little warning. Too dangerous for the workers.
Beyond 70, I have to stop for the safety. So even I cannot close the form road. I cannot ask the people who walk around here because even myself, I feel afraid, so I have to stop.
The survey crew has also hit its stride. Doug Hayes is pleased to report that at 85 stories, the building has only deviated from plumb by 70 millimeters, well within the allowable limit.
It's straight, it's plumb, it's very straight actually. We've got up to this level with very little deviation from plumb, and we're very happy with the thing so far.
Down in the basement, there's also a reason for David Bradford to be happy.
You can see they're taking a lot of care with this thing, making sure it's plumb. But most importantly, striking out the joints so you get a good finished joint. That's good quality. You wouldn't get better than this in the US or in Europe.
Which means these underground rooms can start functioning as mechanical rooms for things like air conditioning. It's a different story with the exterior cladding. It's still not perfect enough to go on the building and is now 5 months behind schedule.
It's been a big headache. It's the single largest problem we have on the job at this time.
A newly discovered leak in the mock-up wall has forced them to rebuild and test again.
If it leaks again, there's a major problem.
It's not all bad news. David heads over to the curtain wall assembly plant when he gets word that the streaking and warping of the glass has finally been fixed. After 3 months of looking at samples, they finally found perfection.
The glass can become warped during the heat treatment process. And if it's warped, you know, you'll see your legs going like this, or your body is kind of not straight as it should be. So I'm just looking at this and it looks perfect, which indicates the glass is very flat. This is the most difficult problem we have. If we can get the consultants to approve this, you know, that's a major milestone in the history of this curtain wall.
It might be okay to his eyes, but he needs the approval of the fussiest of designers, Elizabeth Michalska. So he's had a small visual mock-up built of the final glass sample for her approval.
I think it's just much better what was on the previous one. It will give contractor go-ahead to producing the wall.
One step closer for David Bradford. And for his wing boss, Zilli Maurizio, it's almost time to move on.
I will have to say bye-bye to the boys because after the wings, we have already the other teams which are in charge of the other parts.
It's been the most challenging 2.5 years of Zilli's professional life, and the most exciting.
Now we'll be a bit sad for that because, of course, this is part of the construction history. So it's good to be part of that.
David Bradford still has a long way to go, another 80 floors, and will churn out material in 2 factories 24 hours a day to make up for lost time.
If it drags on much longer, I don't think I'll be around. I'll have an ulcer or have a heart attack. Maybe I'll jump off the building eventually.
Not likely. By next year, the Burj Dubai will be the tallest building on the planet. And that's one event this construction boss won't want to miss. Because despite all the ups and downs, the world will be watching as the Burj reaches historic heights.